Hello, my name is Kapoor Woods. I'm from Lawrence, Louisiana. I'm a freshman at Baldwin College studying business management, and my dream is to build generational wealth. The societal issue that plagues the Black and brown community is the fact that we are underserved, undereducated, and lack resources. This is the reason why our community suffers from poverty, and the answer to get out of poverty is money. But to break it down even simpler, to get money, you need education, and the education that our community needs is financial literacy. The question is then, how as a community are we supposed to build wealth and get out of poverty if we don't have the education and resources needed to do so, right? This project hits home to me because my dream is to build generational wealth. I want to be able to build wealth for my family. I want my family to be able to take that knowledge and spread it to their friends and their family, and I can take that knowledge and also help my community, right? This matters to me also as a member of the Black and brown community because I understand the importance of money. I understand that as a community, we need to learn how to build wealth, and to do that, we need to understand how money works and how to build money, and that is the importance of financial literacy. See, the answer to intergenerational poverty is intergenerational poverty in the Black and brown community is the accumulation and spread of financial knowledge. My topic connects to radical imagination because I envision a future in which the Black and brown community are no longer seen for being poor, for living in poverty, but are seen for building wealth and for having money and having generational wealth, right? In 1934, the FHA, which is Federal Housing Administration, made an official policy called known as redlining. Redlining was basically allowed them to pick and choose which people are allowed to buy and rent houses in certain areas that were deemed to be a financial risk. This was racially motivated and allowed white Americans to buy houses that Black and brown people weren't allowed to buy, right? So you ask yourselves, why are we stuck in poverty? Why are we stuck in places called projects and ghettos? It's because of systems like redlining that forced us to be put in an environment that lacked the financial resources that other communities were given and have access to. In 2023, the annual homelessness assessment report reports that Black people make about 13% of the U.S. population, yet we make about 37% of all people experiencing homelessness. Hispanic people make up about 55% of the increase in homeless people from 2022 to 2023. The U.S. Federal Reserve does a survey called Customer Finance, basically finding that the average household of white Americans before taxes was about $166,000 in comparison to the $71,000 for Hispanic and African Americans. White Americans on average have assets that equate to $1,448,000 in comparison to the only $306,000 that Hispanic and African Americans have. White Americans have a net worth on average that is $1,336,000 in comparison to the $225,000 for Hispanic and African Americans. Basically meaning that white Americans have an average net worth that is over 80% more than our communities, right? This knowledge is so important because these are stats that prove that our community is underserved, that we lack the financial success that other communities have in America. These links between homelessness, race disparities, and poverty connects to one common theme: education. See, to build wealth, you need money. To get money, you need education. It all ties in together. These issues will never have happened if our community had the adequate knowledge and had the resources that these other communities have access to. If we were taught how to invest and how to understand the risk, we would not be dealing with these issues. There was an organization called GFLEC, which stands for Global Financial Literacy Excellence Center, that does an annual barometer of financial literacy among Americans called the PFIN Index. Basically finding that of the questionnaire they put, 53% of white Americans score correctly in comparison to the 36% of Hispanic and African Americans. For African Americans and Hispanics, we scored the lowest on investment, insuring, and understanding risk. How will we as a community supposed to get ourselves out of poverty and build wealth if we can't protect the little money that we do make, right? There was a quote by Warren Buffett that basically says, if you cannot figure out a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. They are literally working us to death. The NCES, which is the National Center for Educational Statistics, did a report in 2022, basically finding the percentage of 25 to 29-year-olds who have completed a bachelor's degree or higher. Of this report, they found that 55% for white Americans, in comparison to the only 26.5% for Hispanic and African Americans. White Americans literally are getting bachelor's degrees at way higher rates than our community are. And this equates to how much money you make. I'm about to prove that. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics did a report basically comparing the earning rates a person makes per week in comparison to the educational attainment that was also done in 2022, finding that a person who has less than a high school diploma makes about $682 a week, in comparison to the $853 a person would make if they had a high school diploma. A person with a bachelor's degree makes about $1,432 a week, in comparison to the $1,661 a week a person with a master's degree has. Breaking this down even more, we see that on the annual income of a person who does not have a high school diploma is about $35,000, in comparison to the $86,000 for a person with a master's degree. This literally proves why education is so important. Education literally equates to how much money a person will make. If our community wants to build wealth, we need education, and we need financial literacy. The National Endowment for Financial Education stated that individuals with higher levels of financial literacy were more likely to engage in behaviors associated with financial success, such as budgeting, saving for retirement, investing wisely, things like this, understanding their profits, stuff like that do with how to build wealth. That's basically what they found. So what is all this stuff that I'm talking about? My Advocacy project is about spreading the knowledge and the importance of financial literacy in our community. These stats that I gave you literally prove that. One, our community is in fact underserved. We suffer from homelessness. We don't make the same amount of money that other communities and races make. We don't have the education that other communities have. We are underserved. And the way to get out of that is through education. The education that we specifically need is financial literacy. Understanding how money works, the importance of money, and how to actually build wealth. Thank you.